very welcome along to this special Cavan Arts programme in association with Townhall, Cavan. We're here for the launch of an exhibition by artist Margot Quinn. The exhibition is entitled Josie's Art Studio and Workshop, and here to tell us more about it is the artist herself. Well, first off, welcome to Townhall, Cavan.
Thanks, Bruna.
Listen, Margot, this fabulous exhibition is the culmination of many years' work. Tell us about it.
Well, I think of it as an ongoing installation. That's why it's got everything from maybe 30 years ago up until last week or now, and it just keeps going. It's part of one long story. So we had a shop in Carrick-on-Shannon, and I used that as a studio, and it was also a workshop where people could come in and do maybe a print workshop or something like that with me. And I closed it a few days a week and opened it a couple of days a week. So I like that idea of, being able to interact with people, and that the whole art thing is not totally separate, that I can share it. So that was the idea.
So is what you're saying to me that, I suppose, what we see here today in the front room of Townhall, Cavan, this was kind of set up as was in Carrick-on-Shannon?
Yeah, we just kind of moved the whole shebang to here and set it up, and that was it.
How did this all start? I mean, talk to us about one of the earliest pieces that's here, please.
Well, the very earliest piece is a piece over in the corner there that I actually did when I was in college I was in college as a mature student. So I just called it "wah." Somebody sitting on the ground sort of going "ah," It's too much.
Where did you go to college, Margot? Where did it all begin?
There's a place called Guildhall University in London. It's just opposite the Whitechapel Gallery, and I think it's called Metropolitan University now. And they had an art department that was called Cass School of Art or whatever. So that's where I went to.
So moving on, just when I look at that picture, the WA picture, beside it as well is just a stunning piece of work. Will you talk to us about the children, the robot and the duck, which features in some pieces, many pieces actually here, and we'll talk about that after.
Okay. Well, it's funny that you say that, because that's the oldest and the most recent. That one with the two kids, and they're my grandkids. And they're just messing about with sticks, and I had a photograph of them, with the two sticks, I call it the two wee warriors. And the robot in it and the duck I just added in because they're papier-mâché pieces that I make. So they all kind of work together in a way. I make the papier-mâché pieces, I do the painting, I might do some prints, I tear up stuff and make something else out of that. So it's kind of a constant thing.
Yeah, because when I walked around, I seen the robot, which is here behind me, and I went, oh, there's the robot, and here in front of us
the duck.
Is the duck. And I said, this is fantastic. And again, the duck is referenced over there in another painting. We'll talk about that one in a second. What is it about sort of, I suppose, recycling themes as well? Like, we have recycled material, but we also have this idea of recycling themes. Talk to us about that process for you as an artist.
Yeah, I just think it's all a circular kind of thing, and one thing leads on to something else, and I'm always making stuff out of rubbish, really. It's all rubbish, the whole thing is rubbish. So I just kind of constantly make stuff. I mean, my daughter laughed about that once. She'd say, I'd say, would you like a cup of tea or something? I'd go out to the kitchen to make a cup of tea, and I'd be back an hour later because I might see something. So I'll start making something out of it, so I'm constantly picking up bits and making things.
Is your mind, the artist's mind, is it always kind of looking and seeing, potential for creativity? Is that part of your daily routine now at this stage?
It is, yeah. It's just there all the time, I think, yeah.
Let's look at some of the pieces. What I find fascinating is the layers or the dimensions or the doorways or the windows in the painting. So if we look at the painting behind you, let's say, we have, numerous paintings together, but then we also have this window into something else. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, well, that was, I think, That's because of the 3D and the 2D together. So I wanted to mix them together. I mean, this was part of a series that I did, when was it, 2010. So the previous year I'd done these tiny, really small paintings, one every day. And this one I had done one a month. But I thought I want to incorporate the papier-mâché and the 3D pieces. They're not always papier-mâché. This one's made out of string and I don't know what else, some kind of rubbish. But so I just wanted to. So they're kind of just ordinary day-to-day things, and there's a kind of a fantasy element in it as well, because it's just everything works its way back into the work somehow. Whatever, something you're reading or a piece of music or anything, really. Yeah.
Let's talk about this. This is, I suppose, the centerpiece of. Well, actually, no. Sorry. Should I say Josie is the centerpiece, really? But we'll talk about her in a moment, because she's a whole section on her own. Let's talk about this. What's going on here, Margot?
I call this the Land of Lost Content, and it was from a poem by, I think it was E. Cummings. I can't remember exactly, because it's just about kind of nostalgia, I suppose, and a little bit of, again, fantasy in there too, and that was part of the Daydream exhibition in Cavan that Joe Keenan very nicely invited me to be part of, and I was thrilled. And it's Fouine, is it called Fouine Spare as well? So everything is outdoor.
Yeah, taking great art outdoors. Yeah.
So that was part of that.
Because I suppose these are Fouine Spare. They're outside of the house, you know.
Yeah, they're outside of the house, and it's during lockdown as well. So although they're not really very socially distanced, but
no.
Maybe that was a break in lockdown.
You know, when I look at the pieces, I think back to, I haven't done paper mache in years, and I remember really enjoying it. And now with my own children, I'm really looking forward to sort of bringing it back into our lives, masks or piñatas or things like that. It seems to be a medium. It's a medium that you're comfortable with.
Yes. It's a very humble medium, but at the same time it's very flexible and it's kind of immediate, I don't have a lot of patience, so I have to do things fairly quickly.
Yeah.
So that's part of it as well.
When you say like patience, I look around and I think the patience it would have taken to create all of this work, yet you're looking at it from, I like things to be immediate, but then you're quite happy to go back to them. You have the patience to revisit your work. Why is that, do you think?
Because I think it's ongoing. I think you have certain preoccupations in your life in art, and you keep going back to that all the time. That's what I think, anyway.
Now, memories, I think, is something that are shown quite strongly in many of these pieces. Talk to us about where the idea and the theme of memories fits in.
Well, that's a difficult one, really. I suppose we're always harking back to the past, aren't we? Have all of us, and just I don't know. It's I don't kind of specifically set out to recreate a memory. It just comes, It's an intuitive thing. I start off not knowing what I'm doing really, or what I'm going to do. I just have a vague kind of idea, and I work in an intuitive way, I suppose, and memories always come into it some way.
When you say you work in an intuitive way, do you get just a creative urge to create something, and then from that the theme arises?
Yeah, it's almost like the process kind of determines what it's going to be in a way. It'll be quite different for painting or for printmaking or sculpture. I work across different media, and it just depends on the process, really, what way it's going to evolve.
Well, I've captured just a little collection, because it's so hard to, I suppose, give people the sense of what it feels like to be here. It's really magical. So I'm going to play a video that we've made with some snippets of Margot's work, and we'll be back with more conversation, and we'll be chatting about Josie after this. Welcome back after that little taster of the exhibition here. Now the exhibition, Margot, is called Josie's. Will you tell us what it's called?
Josie's Art Studio and Workshop.
Now why is it called Josie's Art Studio and Workshop?
Well,
who is Josie?
I wanted to create, because it was a shop, I wanted somebody to stand behind the counter, and that wasn't going to be me. So I needed somebody to kind of, like an alter ego a bit, you know. So this is Josie, and I'm her assistant, really. That's it. She's in charge.
So like that, when we walk into the exhibition here, and we have some footage of it, we see, we're greeted by Josie. We're not greeted by Margot Quinn. We're greeted by the woman of the shop, Josie. Tell us about making Josie, or allowing Josie to come forward.
Well, it's part of the papier-mâché kind of thing as well. I made her. She's bigger than most of the models I would make. And it took me a while to get it together, but she's, you know, she was determined to kind of
come forward,
come out of there somewhere.
I mean, what I'm struck with when I walked in here was just how warm she is. She is this real gentle, beautiful, but sort of commanding presence in the room.
Yeah, she has a determined kind of presence about her. She doesn't take any nonsense, that's the thing.
Who's her little buddy beside her, Mr. Petrified? Who is he? Talk to us about him.
In a way, that I made that during the pandemic, so that's what it was kind of a bit like that, you know. Here's this guy who's supposed to be the superhero, but he's not.
He's a little scared. we can all relate to him at the minute, for sure. Something else, and I have some footage of this, so we might show this footage, and we're going to talk about the green bottles after this. Well, we've just seen Margot's green bottles. Margot, talk us through this. What's going on here with the green bottles?
Well, again, it's papier-mâché, and I made the papier-mâché pulp, and then I put the pulp around the bottles and just painted them green. And it's a childhood, you know, the song 10 Green Bottles Standing on the Wall, that one.
What I love about them, Margot, as I was looking at them, I was like, oh, you know, they're very striking there. But then to see that the bottle is actually still inside, you know, so the function of the bottle, even though they look very, you know, they're very organic on the outside, their functionality is still intact. Yeah,
well, you could stick a flower into one of them or something like that. You can use them. But I like the texture of them, you know, and I just wanted to get different shades of green and stuff like that as well. So it's just about colour and texture and the form of the bottle. I like the form as well. So.
Now, another thing that struck me walking around, and actually I should say crawling around, because obviously I was taking footage of all of these wonderful beings and little people and animals, and that was the headless figures. There's a number of sort of references to headless figures here, and then this other beautiful piece with a clock as a head. But talk to us about the headlessness and the time, maybe, and all of that kind of thing.
Yeah, oh, time is a big thing. Well, headless, yeah, headless figures. I don't know what the hell that's about. Really. Maybe I'm running around like a headless chicken most of the time. But that one, the clock head, I call that ahead of her time. That's her name. So she's a clock. I had a clock, I had a papier-mâché figure, so they had to come together somewhere.
Brilliant. Yeah. I mean, when I looked at it, what I thought was sort of that idea that we all have time here. You know?
Yeah.
That's what struck me, and that to enjoy your time. And I think that's something that's a lot of people are talking about at the moment, is enjoying the small things. And there's lots of small things here as well. That's what's interesting about this exhibition, is there's large paintings, and then there's just the tiniest little pieces as well, which is so intriguing and captivating. Behind you, books. We've a lot of references to books and paper. Why or what's going on there?
Yeah, again, I like the texture of paper as well, and the actual book. I like books, and I read a lot, and I just like a book as an object as well. And I don't like reading stuff online, or I don't like anything online, even though I'm on Instagram, so that's quite kind of a lie. But I like just, again, messing around, making things, you know, seeing what you can do with, like this. But this is just one page, this particular book. So, you know, they're all very simple, you know. Yeah. Again, everything's very...
Don't know why, but a phrase that my grandmother used to say to me was, "The devil will make work for idle hands."
Well, that's it.
And I'm thinking of you going out to make a cup of tea for your daughter, not coming back for an hour, and her going, "Oh, Mum's obviously, you know, using her hands and spotted something, and she's making something." Are you always tricking away and doing something with your hands?
Mostly I am, yeah. If I'm watching TV or something, I'd probably be cutting up bits of paper at the same time and making a collage, or again making these books, because I like the folding, and I just like making small books.
How important was it, I suppose, to get the call from Joe Keenan, from Cavan Arts, and from Townhall to do this exhibition for you at this time? I was thrilled, absolutely delighted, because it's like I don't know what it is. It's like the perfect thing for me, you know. I don't kind of really like the pristine kind of gallery setup. I don't think it suits me, because I'm a just all over the place, messy kind of worker, you know. So and I like the idea of the shop I like that because it's kind of democratic and it's open to everybody, and you know. And the shop is disappearing now as well. You know, it's all online stuff. Everybody's buying stuff online, and I just prefer to go in somewhere and get lost, and you know, find things, browse,
yeah,
spend time, with the product. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
We should say that this exhibition runs from today until the 20th, around the 20th of February, I think. So, but people can find out the exact dates on the Cavan Arts website. Margot, thank you so much for, I suppose, giving us just a tiny taster as to what's been going on for you, what we can find here, and when we come in, what it is that we're looking at as well, because I've spent an hour and a half here and I really haven't seen everything. I haven't been able to even process everything.
That's great.
I really haven't, you know, and I've been taking footage, and we've been showing that footage obviously throughout this program. But really, this is something else. It's a treat. How does it make you feel to bring your shop and Josie, lock, stock and barrel, from Carrick-on-Shannon, an hour and a bit away, and bring it here and set it up again? How does that feel for you?
Well, it's an honour. It's Josie on tour, you know.
Well, listen, we're very lucky to have Josie on tour and Margot here in Cavan in a Townhall gallery, which is the front room of the Townhall. What's fantastic about this exhibition, and probably like that in your shop when it was there in Carrick-on-Shannon, is people don't even have to come in. They can just look through these windows. And as Joe Keenan said to me, well, Corinne, you've seen all of what's inside, but you haven't actually taken a walk and looked at it from outside, and that's a whole different thing. And I think as well, what's beautiful about these windows is they're like little portraits in, you know, in every frame nearly that you'd look through, you'd see a little something different. And this is a really special exhibition. So thank you so much, Margot.
Thanks very much. Thank you.
Well, I hope you've enjoyed this special launch program. I hope you'll come in and see Josie and see Margot's work and chat to staff here in Townhall, Joe Keenan, Cavan Arts, and everybody who's been involved. So well done, everyone. Thank you very much, and hopefully we'll be back with the launch of another exhibition for you in the not too distant future. This one runs until the end of February. Check the dates on the Cavan Arts website.